Hey everybody. Welcome to the Will Yorick Expanded Guide, the redo. That's right, we just started recording. Luckily it was only about 5 minutes until I noticed, but we're here to talk about Will Yorick and who he is, and we're going to talk about all the cards and all the notable cards that make him a good deck and how you should look about building them. So Bryn, because we've already talked about this in great detail, what does Will Yorick do?
Yeah,
we had our practice.
So
rehearsal.
You've got 4 punch. It's your good number. 3 is in your defensive stats, and 2 in your book. So you don't want to be investigating. You want to be fighting monsters, which is a pretty handy thing because your card ability is, or your investigator ability is as a reaction. After you defeat an enemy once per round, you may play an asset from your discard pile, paying its cost.
Wow.
And you know that's kind of good. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I
It's
mean,
kind of good. Yeah.
it turns your discard pile into a second hand, which is nice.
Yeah, graveyard recursion is not a dangerously powerful effect, I promise.
Never.
No, it never could be. Why would you suggest
It's never
that?
been in the past.
As a side note, I kind of just love that it's like perfect flavor for Will Yorick, right? Like it actually is just like for not only is it powerful, but it's also just very fun Will Yorick ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good time.
To go with your reasonable defensive stats, you've also got a nicely balanced health line, like 8 and 6. You're not particularly bad at anything. You can take a bunch of damage, but we'll get into that later.
Not that you ever will.
Yeah. You got probably the strongest star effect in the game.
Father Mateos is like really good.
Yeah, Father Mateos is like very strong.
It's like pretty yoked.
So like maybe the second best one.
But it's up
There are some that you could argue are better. You can't argue that this is better than Mateos. Like pretty much ever, I don't think.
Yeah.
His is just real good.
He gets 2 kind of.
Yeah.
They're
right.
both really good.
Yeah.
It's like extra action or a card and a resource.
Yeah, it's tough to argue with that. There are some investigators like Silas whose abilities might be stronger situationally, but
like Yorick's is just always active.
It's always on.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you don't have any cards in your discard, you should probably get on that.
Yeah, because it's not even returning an asset. Like
it's just a card.
Yeah.
Like
it's
you
just
can
choose one.
Yeah, you can pick up your lucky. You can
it's
pick up
kind of
your
wild.
Graveyard ghouls.
Yeah. I mean, you could if you want to.
It's kind of weird they chose to give this one like a +2 and
Yeah,
like,
right.
get any
ability.
card back.
Yeah, it is
a weird choice.
It is very strong. You get to play with Survivor cards 0 to 5, Guardian cards 0 to 2. Again, you know, you want to be fighting stuff. It's what you're good at. Blue also gets you access to a great many different types of items.
Like guns.
Like guns.
They shoot.
And other guns.
And like people.
Yep.
People.
Which are good because you're going to want to kill those people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, not you personally, but
Somebody
they'll just
Red also has a whole pile of disposable items that we'll get into.
Yes.
Very shortly here. For your signature card, you have Bury Them Deep. It's a 0-costed event that commits for a brain, a punch, and a wild. But don't. It's very strong and always worth it. It's Will Yorick deck only. Fast. Play it when an enemy at your location is defeated. You add that enemy and this card to the victory display. It's just worth a victory. So you get to make all kinds of neat choices about it. You can take an annoying enemy, such as a Wizard of the Order, that you can just take them out of the deck. You never have to see them again.
Say bye-bye.
Yeah. We were joking about about choosing to possibly remove a mindless dancer from the deck.
Yep.
And
you should.
Yeah. Like if you ever get a chance to take one of the big chunky guys who aren't worth victory out of the deck, it might be worth it.
And then if you draw it later in the game and you just like the next enemy you kill, you say, "Hey guys, this is victory 1 printed on it."
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Especially in the first couple of scenarios, and makes Will Yorick an excellent pick to play through Dunwich.
Yep.
As it is kind of XP starved, and you will be, giving your team an extra maybe 5 to 7 points.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. The last thing you can do with it is it doesn't say non-weakness on it, so we can use it to interact with weakness enemies, such as graveyard ghouls.
Wow.
It's a 3/3/2. It's not particularly scary. Prey, Will Yorick only, does 1 of each type of damage. Hunter, while it is engaged with you, cards can't leave your discard pile. And that is kind of the thing that you do. So if you whenever you find these, they kind of have to die. You don't necessarily have to bury them deep because you're probably not trying to cycle through your deck. But like you can.
Bury
If you
back
want
in
to.
the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Richard Upton Pickman, can he get them in the gold gang?
You might be able
You
to.
might be able to.
Yeah.
I'll see.
Sick. All right.
Yeah. You can also use bury them deep to help one of your teammates out with a troublesome weakness enemy that they might have.
Yeah, like an It That Follows or Worst Nightmare. Yeah, that would be nice to get rid of one of those.
Yeah, or even if their signature weakness is an enemy, you can just remove that from their deck and let them go about their business.
So, Bryn, before we start looking at all the cards, what do you like? What is like a Will Yorick card? Like when you're building a Will Yorick deck, what are the cards that jump out as like what you should be looking for when you're looking through a collection and you see a card for Will Yorick?
Knife. Yeah. So knife is normally not a very good card, but it allows you to discard it for an effect that is reasonably strong and doesn't cost very much to play. So the thing that gates you most of the time is like you don't want to be playing cards like, I don't know, Brother Xavier out of your discard pile all the time because you can't. They cost 5. But cards like knife costs 1. You can play knife literally every turn with just what the game gives you.
So cards that discard themselves.
Yeah, cards that
discard themselves.
Or like cards that you can like soak, that when they die you can just bring back and keep soaking.
This is true. Those are generally the type of effects that are like good.
Sweet.
In Yorick.
All right, so we're going to go through these. We're going to start with the core set, and how we're going to go is we're going to... they've kind of been split up roughly by like weapons, because Will Yorick's the fighter, he wants to fight. Cards that will interact favorably with his ability, and then just other good cards that Travis has included. Yeah, there's the knife. As you can see, there is a little...
probably the only guy that knife made it into, so...
It gets its time in the spotlight.
I wouldn't play it anyplace else.
If you see a little tag like how you see on Machete, that means it can be found either in our Staples video or one of the relevant notable weapons, clues, or spell videos that might come up. We're going to touch on these quickly as we get through them, and then if there's any ones that you guys want to add further onto, we'll do that before we move on.
How come the 45 doesn't have a symbol on it?
Great question. That should have a weapon symbol on it.
Cool.
Whoops!
Good start. Strong start.
Strong start.
You know, this video is cursed.
It is cursed, yeah. We have the 45 automatic, which is a gun. It shoots, gets +1 fist, deals +1 damage. You're going to want to be killing things. This helps you do that. Baseball bat, likewise, +2 attack, deals +1 damage. And if it breaks, you can just get it back. I mean, you won't have a weapon to bring back with it, but if you do break it, it's much less of a problem than Will Yorick, because he says, don't worry, I have this zombie baseball bat right here.
It's got like duct tape.
Yeah, it's just taped back together, got some nails in it.
Yeah.
We have Machete, which is one of the staple weapons, which you can find in our staple videos. And then Knife. The reason, as Bryn said, that this one is so good is because you can discard it, get +2 fist, and deals +1 damage. And then you can just do it again, and again, and again, and again.
It's pretty efficient for level 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, personally, I think this card is a better weapon, a better generic weapon for Yorick than the 45 automatic. I imagine there are people who will disagree with me. That's okay. The reason that I think it is better is because 45 automatic costs you 4 to play and 4 to rebuy if you ever manage to get there, because you do have to discard it in order to reload it. And you get 4 attacks at +1 for +1 damage. The knife, however, gives you unlimited attacks at +1, admittedly for only 1 damage, but there are many enemies in the game that have an uneven health total. And then we get to discard it to fight for +2 and +1 damage. So for that same 4 resource cost, we get to fight 4 times at +2 and +1 damage instead of +1 and +1 damage, while still being able to use it to help us finish off those annoying 3 health enemies without having to spend a bullet to get a boost to our punch.
Yeah, and because the discard knife is part of the cost to initiate the action, it will be in your discard pile by the time you absolutely ace your attack and kill it.
Yep.
The 45 is like situationally better than knife, like when you're trying to kill a big enemy. Something that's got more than like 3 health. It's probably a little bit better because you can just shoot him twice It also depends a little bit on
that's
like
true.
what you have in your discard pile. Because like if you're recurring knife every attack, then you have to recur knife every attack. But if you're killing stuff with the automatic, you can bring back other things too.
Yeah. The last thing that the knife does well though is it pitches for a punch symbol instead of a foot.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to put it into your discard pile and then get to play it without spending an action on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Especially in the first 3-ish scenarios of the game, I think is where knife really shines. After that, it starts to get a little outclassed by enemies that have 5 or more health.
Yeah, yeah. So we got a bunch of things that when they die, you're going to want to bring them back, or if they're in your discard pile. So we got
Stray
Guard
Cat
Dog.
was really on the list, huh?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Wild.
We got Guard Dog, so when an enemy attack deals damage to Guard Dog, you deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. So then when you get 3 damage out of it, then when it dies, you can bring it back. Leather Coat, which I'm sure we'll get back to once we just kind of free talk about the cards. It just soaks damage for you. Stray Cat, you discard it to automatically evade a non-elite enemy at your location if you want to do that thing. And there's a lot of people like building animal Yorick decks because of Pet Cemetery and stuff like that, so there is that. It's notable.
Guard Dog is like exceptionally good for Yorick at higher difficulties as well,
Yes.
where you can like get the free damage as a way to get around his lowish punch score.
Yeah. Both unupgraded and upgraded B-Cop are a nice thing for Will Yorick because they increase his fist, which is the stat you will be using the majority of the time. And they also represent free damage, and you can bring them back after they have gotten their damage out of them. Police Badge gives you +1 brain, which isn't like a bad thing, because then you'll have 4, which is a very comfortable number. And also, to get the sick-ass effect out of Police Badge, you have to discard it, and then you can just buy it back once you kill an enemy, maybe with those additional actions. And then Elder Sign, Amulet, and Bulletproof Vest both just represent more soak. And if you can just keep playing it when it goes in your discard pile, you just don't die. In addition, they each also commit for either a Guts or an Overpower, so very relevant symbols.
Yep.
Bryn, Leather Coat. Why is that one like just so nice in Will Yorick?
So the thing that this card does really well here that it doesn't particularly do other play. Like normally, this card is just 0 and a card to soak 2. But in Will Yorick, we're playing assets out of our discard pile. Leather Coat can take damage and die. It also commits for a punch. We want to ideally be killing 1 enemy every turn and getting to play something out of our discard pile every time we do.
Yeah.
The fact that Leather Coat is 0 just makes it an easy choice. It just makes it an easy choice to recur it.
Like, if you're even just looking at this page, the difference between Leather Coat and Bulletproof Vest, it costs 3 experience for 2 resources for 4 soak. But, I mean, you could just play your Leather Coat twice, right?
Yeah, you'll probably get more mileage out of the Leather Coat than you will the Bulletproof Vest. Unless you are specifically trying to avoid either, like, large damage totals all at once, or you are alternatively playing something different out of your discard pile.
Yes. Yeah. If you're not looking to just keep playing Leather Coat.
Yeah, like if you're not looking to play Leather Coat every 3rd turn maybe. Like, yeah, okay, Bulletproof Vest is probably a better option for you.
Yeah.
But Leather Coat is level 0.
Sweet. Any other cards you guys want to add on, or should I go to the next slide?
Next slide.
Yeah, if you're planning to use the B-Cop as a damage tool, upgrade to the level 2 as soon as possible. You get to pay 4 for 3 damage instead of 4 for 1 damage.
Great deal.
It is an incredible deal.
It is, yeah, it's much better. It's
So
much better.
Sweet. We have a bunch of staples here. Vicious Blow, more damage, Rabbit's Foot, draw cards, Guts, and Overpower, and Unexpected Courage. They do all the things that we talk about in the staple videos, which you can find in the description. And then Lucky, which just means, hey, don't fail the test, which you can find us talking in greater detail down in the description down below.
Yeah, the Rabbit's Foot, it discards for a wild icon.
Yeah.
Easiest thing in the world to get it into your discard pile and play it without an action.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That is kind of like when you get into that next level with Yorick too, where you're thinking, how does this card get into my discard pile in the easiest way possible?
Yeah. How am I making that happen?
All right, let's move on to Dunwich. This is Dunwich. This is Dunwich. All right, so we got Fire Axe, which is a weapon as if you want to go with it. It does require resources to get really good, which is just something you want to be aware of when you're working with Will Yorick. Because you are going to be wanting to play things from your discard pile, so resources are a tasty treat that you want to eat. But it also just, like, can sometimes still just be an offhand weapon if you have some fist boost and you just can get that top action. And if you have no resources and you're planning on playing like a cherished keepsake or a leather coat,
it is a solid choice if you're just gonna like recur the 0 cost stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
If you are playing like a Dark Horse Yorick build, this is definitely the weapon you want.
Yeah.
In your level 0 deck at least. He's got a sweet stat line for it. You even get to have 3 book, which kind of works sometimes.
It's functional.
It can be made to work.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not a bad weapon by any stretch.
Prepared for the Worst helps you find your weapon. It is a staple. You're going to want to put it in your Will Yorick deck. Yes, yes, yes. Bandolier allows you to hold more weapons. It's also something that you can bring back if it dies. But if you're looking at doing lots of weapons, like you want a big gun and then a small sidearm, or something like a side knife, that could be that would be the route you'd want to take. And then Vicious Blow, which is another staple. More damage is good.
Bigger damage numbers are good.
Bigger, more, faster, now. We got 2 Pete Sylvesters, the level 0 and the level 2. You can discuss those. Never die. And that's actually like the big thing. And you're going to see that as we're going to talk about a lot. The soak that Will Yorick can bring, even with just leather coat and cherished keepsake, which we're going to be talking about in the next expansion, just makes him never die.
Yeah.
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 Brother Xavier is who Bryn talked about earlier. He is very expensive to bring out, but he does represent a lot of soak for not only you, but for other people at your location. And then he also represents damage when he dies. So if you are planning on bringing him back, you either want to also be planning on bringing back low-cost assets, like the 0-cost ones, or you're going to want some more economy as you're doing
like
things.
A giant pile, whatever you have access to, you probably want to jam it all in your deck.
Yeah, because as Bryn said, you're going to want to be looking at activating Will Yorick's ability on every enemy you defeat. Well, at least once a turn.
Yeah. Like ideally you want to be doing it once a turn.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get to, and that's just the way it is. But in a perfect world, you would be doing it every turn.
Yeah. And we got a chance encounter, which is choose an ally asset in any player's discard pile, put that asset into play under your control. At the end of the round, if that asset is still in play, discard it. So you're going to have allies in your discard pile. You can take advantage of them in another way with this card.
Yeah, this one's really cute with Brother Xavier, because you can, like, as last action on your turn, grab Brother Xavier and just have your teammates do whatever they're doing if there's monsters at your location and you had to catch up to them or something like that.
Yep.
Yep.
Just have him die.
Yep.
Again.
Yeah. And he's happy about it.
Yeah.
He makes me think of the crazy monk in Ravenholm in Half-Life 2, for sure. That's what I've always thought about Brother Xavier.
Do you ever play that game?
I can't be the only one. Great game, though. Probably pretty dated nowadays. We got Flare. You get plus its damage. It does exile, so just something to be aware of. You can't recur it. But it does also help you find allies, which if you're doing a heavy ally build, Flare can really help you with that. Then we got Relic Hunter and Charisma, which are just, if you want to have additional accessories and more allies, which you probably will with Yorick, depending on what you're doing. You might not, but you probably will. Same with the accessory slot, because one of those is always going to be Cherished Keepsake, probably.
Look, Mr. Potterson came in the same box as he did.
Yeah. These are just good choices for that. All right, on to Will Yorick's cycle.
It's Mr. Potterson.
Which is Carcosa. So the rules are, you should have the best cards in your own cycle, right? That's generally the rule, right?
The cards that are on color for you.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah.
Probably work pretty well with you out of the box you came in, right?
That's the
You'd
hope.
hope so.
Except in Edge of the Earth, where the colors are different, and
and like how
you got to look at it cross-eyed.
Daniela can't use Sick Dodge.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But it would be good.
It would be very good. We got Gravedigger's Shovel and the Lantern, which, as you can see, the normal rule is if your Investigator is in the art, it's a good card. That rule doesn't work the same for if the art is in your Investigator card, but you can tell that these work very well with Yorick, because you can discard them, the Gravedigger's Shovel to discover a clue, and the Lantern to deal 1 damage to enemy or location, and they both also do the inverse, which is attack and also investigate. So these are outclassed by other things, but free damage or free clues can be good, and you can recur them with that. But I think they're more cool for flavor than they are.
They're both fine.
I think the shovel is still fine.
Yeah, one
you got to
clue
be
is
playing
better
at a
than 1
lower,
damage.
like either a lower player count or in the Jack of all trades slot. Because it doesn't do extra damage,
Yeah.
but getting to spend an action to discover a clue when that's not normally your job and without making a test, it's pretty okay.
And then
you can just rebuy it.
You
Right.
dig up a shovel. You're like,
Just like-
perfect.
Yeah. You kill the cultist with your machete, and inside him there was a shovel.
My God.
Yeah.
We got.
Lantern shines at higher difficulties.
Yeah.
Yep, it's also fine for those Dark Horse builds as your offhand thing if you can't afford to put money into Fire Axe and Mariner's Compass.
Yeah.
We got True Grit, which assigns damage from other investigators on True Grit, and you can just buy it back. If you want to be like a supporty tank, that can be a way to do that. And then Bryn, Cherished Keepsake.
He's Mr. Potterson.
Why is Mr. Potterson so nice and Yorick?
So chiefly, the inverse of Leather Coat is better for Yorick because he has 8 health and 6 sanity. So you're probably a little more worried about dying to sanity all the time. Not that, the other one might not happen, but he commits for a brain, so he helps to protect you from the Mythos phase that way. And then he also protects you from encounter cards by being a teddy bear.
Yeah, being a teddy bear that you can hold to make your horror go away.
Yeah.
What a hero.
Yeah. And like everything that we said about Leathercoat, that's pretty much equally true here. He does take up the accessory slot, which is slightly more competitive than the body slot for Yorick.
But it really makes its case
it's
for
worth
taking
it.
that
Yeah,
slot.
he costs 0, and if you have both of these in your deck, I can't say that you'll never die, but like
It's going to take a lot of
yeah,
damage
it takes a
to
lot
die.
of damage to bring you down.
Yeah. All right, I think that the next one is the rest of the notable cards here. Oh, the 45 automatic on this one got the tag. Yes!
Nailed it.
All
Got
right.
'em.
We got a few staples here. We got Let Me Handle This, which you can use to protect your people. Resourceful, which get cards from your discard pile. You're going to be interacting with that. And then Ever Vigilant, which helps you play assets at both an action compression and a resource compression as well.
Very good.
Madame Lebranche, if you're wanting to do Dark Horse, she will do very nice in that role. In addition, she just represents 2/2 soak for 2.
Yeah.
Even just baseline when you strip it all down.
She's just fine. You're going to run out of resources
Yeah.
fairly frequently in New York, so
yeah.
you can probably get like 3 or 4 resources per game from her.
She
at
will.
least.
She will end up free,
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
effectively.
We got a Test of Will, which is it cancels it cancels the Revelation effect, but
You
according to
have
Bryn,
to have it.
You're legally obligated to play this in your deck.
yeah,
Every test you make is a test of will.
it's true. This is all very true. We got the upgraded 45 automatic, which we talk more, and the unupgraded version in our weapon video, and then a chance encounter, the upgraded one, where just now it doesn't die.
Yeah.
It does. You have to pay its cost, but it basically just adds. It's another copy of that ally in play. That's now in your hand in your deck.
Yeah, it's literal stand-and fight.
And then Travis, what about Key of Use?
Is good.
It is good.
Yeah, you can get it back if it breaks because you're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just unlimited power. Oh, unlimited power.
As I was saying.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the Forgotten Age. Up here we got Survival
Horrible
Knife. Pardon?
Nothing, I'm just saying the name in a funny accent.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I was like, I said, I think when you say what, but you actually heard the person, it just took your brain a second long to get there.
Yeah.
Survival Knife we talked about in our weapon video. This is a good stabby weapon. The upgraded one does get like a lot nicer because it just doesn't provoke the attacks of opportunity. But we talk about more about those there.
Yeah, it's particularly nice in Yorick because you don't actually have to care about the damage off the attacks
Yes.
a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah, that's just cool.
It's nice.
Old hunting rifle. Like the baseball bat, this one can jam on a skull or an auto fail.
Unlike the baseball bat, if it jams, you're in trouble.
Yes,
like
but
real trouble.
it is a potential weapon that you can do, and it does deal very nice damage, assuming it doesn't jam on you.
Yeah.
And if it does,
+3 and 3 damage for like 3
Yeah.
experience is real
really
good.
nice, yeah. And then also for the cost too, only
Yep.
3. As Bryn also said, for Survival Knife, if it does jam, you're probably okay if you clear the jam.
Yeah,
You're probably going
like
to be fine.
You can probably tank the hit
Yeah, you want
if
me,
you have to.
you want me playing something to like dig yourself out of the hole if it jams in York, whether it's like something to cancel the tokens, or like active desperation where you can throw the rifle at the guy and then get it back.
Yep.
Or like even just bandolier and another weapon.
Yeah. Time Worn Brand is just a big beat stick.
It's very efficient.
Yeah. We got Yodel.
Yeah.
Which Yodel. He cares about the skill icons on the top card of your discard pile, and it also discards cards from the top of your deck limit once per phase. I believe he has been changed to be phase as opposed to turn.
Maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like this guy's not here to add numbers to your skills.
Yeah.
Though that might happen. He's here to dump cards into your discard pile to make sure that you have the most possible options when running your ability.
Heck yeah.
I'm playing this guy in my Patrice deck right now. He's okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
We got Cornered, which is really nice in Will Yorick. So as a lightning bolt, you can discard a card from your hand. You get +2 skill value for the skill test. So not only did you turn something into an unexpected courage, but then after you kill the ghoul you're fighting, you get to play that card from your discard pile.
Yeah. Card is just good.
Yeah. As we said earlier, with Will Yorick, if you can find ways to put cards in your discard pile, that's when you start getting into like the advanced part of Will Yorick, when you're not just like hitting things with a stick.
Oh man, I have to discard a card? No, I
get to. It's a privilege. It's a good card. You'll really enjoy playing with him. Just try it out.
Plus, given that his defensive stats are both 3s, you can make your defensive numbers into 5s with this, as well as punch big guys without actually having to find a way to make your number good.
Yep.
We got Perseverance, which if you're going to die, that would if you take damage or horror that would defeat you. You just don't cancel up to 4 of that.
Yeah. You know what's better than dying?
Not dying. That's a saying we say here a lot on this channel, and it's very true. It's very true.
Yeah, there are a lot of cards that look bad because they're only good when you're losing, but
sometimes just
sometimes another turn is all you need.
Well, this card would be like garbage if it didn't commit for 2 brains.
I mean, like it would have to commit for something else.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, they don't have to make accounts. Yeah. My point is, like, you wouldn't play if it didn't commit for relevant symbols.
Yes.
If this commit for, like, a foot and a fist or something like that, you'd be like,
Or just a foot, you're like, oh.
Yeah, if this committed for a foot, I definitely wouldn't play it. Yeah. But as is, it's like a stand-in for Guts with a hidden mode.
Yeah.
Don't die.
We got Stunning Blow, which is when you do the bonk, they also go thump, which is nice.
You get to hit them and they look like the snake.
Yeah. Do you know who would make a perfect noise for that? Patrick.
He would.
He would make the perfect noise for that snake.
He would.
Take the Initiative and Take Heart are both on the staple videos, and they're both just good cards, and we talk about why in the videos and down in the description. And then we got Alter Fate, which choose and discard from play a non-weakness treachery that is not attached to an elite enemy. This one can really be nice. And can really just get you guys out of a hole, right? Literally.
This is like one of the best red cards to like just stick into your deck if you don't have anything else going on.
Yeah, you got no further plan.
And luckily on the Survivor class, that happens pretty quickly. Yeah. Like, I got everything I need. Let's alter some fates.
Yeah, I'm not going to list everything that you could discard that it would be good for, because it will take too long.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
But like I don't think there's a campaign I've played yet where Alter Fate wouldn't have been an all-star at some point.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright, we're on to the Circle Undone. We got the Pete Cleaver. We call it that because you want to play it with Pete Sylvester.
To kill Pete.
Pete's like, stop it, Yorick, stop it, you're killing them. And
No, you give it to Pete and make him do it.
Yeah.
Pete's like, butcher that guy for me.
Chop that guy open.
All right, crying as he does it.
Yeah, now fish around in there. There's a flashlight in there somewhere.
No. Pete's like, I just want to go back and do my studies.
I just want to play football with him, man.
Yeah. So this is a weapon that's not included in our weapon build video because you kind of have to like have a plan for it.
It's a little niche.
Luckily, though, Will Yorick is pretty good at coming up with a plan for soaking horror, as we've talked about.
Yeah. This one also does like what if you have three or fewer remaining sanity, which is normally a dangerous place to be, but with Will, you can soak a lot.
Yeah.
And you can just sit there at 3, killing things with your +2 punch that your weapon's giving you now. Your level 0 weapon.
Yeah. It's juicy.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
We have both the Tennessee Sour Mashes, which give you +2, so they give you a Guts for skill test on a Treachery card, 2 supplies for the level 0, 3 supplies for the level 3. And then they also can each fight, and they discard as well, which is something, as we said, is you kind of like looking for with Will Yorick. Fight for +3 fist or +3 fist, and if it succeeds against an oddly enemy, you automatically evade it. So get your guts out of it, and then hit somebody with it. Or if you're Will Yorick, still just hit somebody with it, kill them, and then like refresh it, even if you have nothing else to buy in your discard pile, but you have the money.
Yeah.
Ace of Swords is a tarot card that gives you more fist.
Punch.
Five is bigger than 4.
Yeah.
It is all
Like
It's
a lot
true.
bigger than 4.
Yeah, actually.
It's like 1 bigger than 4.
Yeah, but
But in
like
the scope of the game, that is.
yeah,
It's like the same amount bigger than 4 is to 3.
yeah, but it's bigger than 3 is bigger than 2,
Yeah.
and a whole lot bigger than 2 is bigger than 1.
Yeah.
They're speaking in riddles. Just so everybody knows. We got Steadfast, which commits for both brains and fist. It's just a card that you can play exactly when you need it. Especially if you're putting most of your damage onto your soak, you're probably going to get the 3, if not always the 2 of those symbols.
Yeah, like the two is perfectly fine. So
Yeah.
Not so good with the Peak Cleaver, though.
not so good with the people.
Not so good with Peak Cleaver, yeah. Act of Desperation, as Travis said, really good with the old hunting rifle, but also sometimes just like being able to throw an empty gun at somebody and then bring it back from their corpse seems like a good deal.
You can tell because she's got a rifle in the air.
It's true.
Yep.
She does.
Active-
She's dead, though.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, she looks like she's got like 2 punch, dude.
Yeah. What are you doing, lady?
yeah, like it depends how much that rifle costs. I
Yeah,
guess.
and that does look like a big enemy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a dark young or something.
Yeah. She's
She's
dead.
not in the good place.
Yeah. This one, like when you discard the item, if you succeed the punch test, which let's be real, you probably are, because you just got +2 at least.
And you're Will Yorick and not that lady.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
not that lady. You get the money. You get money equal to the discarded item's cost if
Oh.
you discarded it from play.
Oh.
Which, yeah, this card enables like a lot of weird builds with things like the old hunting rifle,
Yep. Yeah.
where you can throw them away to reload them while also killing a guy.
Yeah. I just love that you kill him. It's like I wasn't done with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, you throw it at him and you're like, man, why'd I throw that? This thing's great.
I think this card's just as much a staple in Yorick decks
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
as the teddy bear is. It's very good.
Yeah.
Something worth fighting for is the horror version of True Grit.
A little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit
Yeah.
better because, as we said,
Depends a little bit on what your team's makeup looks like, as to whether soaking the horror or the meat for your teammates is more important.
Yeah, but generally this one's going to be better, I think, just because you have lower sanity.
Yeah, like this, they're perfectly fine if you don't have access to Leather Coat or the Teddy Bear.
You have access
But you
to
should
both
have
of them.
access to both of them if you own Will Yorick, unless one of your friends is playing red and playing them, in which case, take them.
yeah, be like,
Take them away.
Excuse me, Rita
Yeah,
Young,
those-
why
those
do you
belong
need
to
the
me.
coat and the teddy bear?
Yeah,
Well, I don't want to take damage and die.
Yes,
I don't
but
care.
You see, I can never die if I have these cards. We got Grizzly Totems, so make your skill cards better. And also, if they would, if you fail on the upgraded one, you just keep it. You keep it.
yeah.
Put it back in your hand.
The thing that these do, like particularly well in Yorick, is that if you look at them, most of the assets that we want to play, they discard for a single pip or a single icon. So we get to make them into proper skill cards.
Yeah.
Personally, I prefer cornered for the effect, but like
But depending on your collection
these,
availability,
yeah, like these do well too, and one of them can do it at level 0.
Yep.
Yep, they're very nice, especially if you're planning to play, like, again, the old hunting rifle, and, like, for example, and that your backup plan is to just punch things to death with, like, Vicious Blow and Brute Force.
Yep.
We got I've Had Worse, the level 2 version, which if you cancel 2 damage and a horde just dealt to you, then gain that many resources. So hey, provoke an attack of opportunity from a guy who deals 1 and 1. Say, nah, I'll take these resources, and then dig a flashlight out of his body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that that's not really the flavor they're going for, but like
It is. It's the PBG flavor.
Yeah.
We have, if you have, you probably know this if you watch our videos. We kind of have our own fucked up flavor for how things work here. Eucatastrophe. Remember how we said that he has one of the best Elder Signs in the game? Hey, do you know what's fun? Doing that instead of failing a test due to the auto fail.
What is a eucatastrophe? Is that like the opposite of a catastrophe?
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna pass this next one to you You guys, I'm going to look up Eucatastrophe. We're on to Dream Eaters.
All right.
Oh, Tetsuo Mori dies for so many things.
Why don't you take this one,
Yeah.
Travis, while I look up Eucatastrophe?
Okay. Tetsuo Mori is a 3-cost ally. Takes 2 and 2. He can take damage for your teammates, again, if that's something you care about. But what he actually does, when he dies, you can either search the top 9 cards of your deck, well, investigate your location. You can search the top 9 cards of their deck, but it's probably going to be you. Or their discard pile for an item add to their hand. You like getting stuff out of your discard, they end up there a lot. And also, you need to have them to put them there. This guy does both. And also, you can raise them from the dead.
Eucatastrophe is a sudden and favorable resolution of events in a story. A happy ending.
Wow.
It has here the birth of Christ. As an example.
That's the end of a story?
But then also the resurrection and the incarnation.
All right.
That's an interesting choice. But
Sure.
The big thing they talk about is the end of The Hobbit.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Scrounge for Supply is really good. It's in the Staples video. It gets back pretty much everything in your... Well, actually everything
More
in your starting
graveyard
deck.
recursion.
Yep.
Hungry Blade is a fun build-around weapon. Again, you can see that our weapon guide. We go into real detail about it. This one is it's a little bit awkward to use and set up, but when it gets going, it's just fun. Then we got Jessica Hyde. She is very good for William York because she gives you +1 punch, putting you up to 5, and also she helps ensure that you will never die alongside Pete.
Never die.
Never die.
Never die.
She's the strongest argument you have for spending experience on charisma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Peter and Beat Cop is also like a very strong combination.
Yep, very acceptable. It depends a little bit
Or
what you're
guard
trying
dog
to do.
and another guy, even another guard dog.
Yep.
Yep.
You know.
But like Jessica and Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just great combination.
Yeah.
Black Cat. Oh, hey. He costs 2. So he's very low. He does cost 5 experience to put in your deck, which is a pretty big chunk. However, his ability wants not only like never die, right? Going with that thing again. But his ability is also like really nice, right? Like just
Pass lots of tests.
pass lots of tests.
Shouldn't have.
And then when he dies, you just say, "Come back, Black Cat. You're fine."
You hit your star, and the black cat's like, "Yes, I get to get healed," and you're like, "No,
No,
you're just
no,
gonna
no.
die, man."
No.
No, I'm gonna put this other card back.
Yeah.
The cat then Sag. Okay. Nothing left to lose. If you have fewer than 5 resources, gain until you have 5. If you have fewer than 5 cards in hand, draw until you have 5, and then remove it from the game. Money is important here, and if your deck is feeling like you're lacking on the money, this is really good to get you there.
Yeah, I think that despite the fact that this card displays everyone's favorite violinist, it's kind of best in Yorick. Like, you want both halves of this thing. You're almost always going to get to take all the money. You usually get to take, most of the cards.
I bet it'd be really, really good for Wendy as well.
I mean, like, a lot of things are good for Wendy. I suppose
You
draw
said it
5
was
is,
best in
like,
Yorick,
really
so I'm
good.
trying to find things that might be
That's
better
fair.
than it.
That's fair.
There's a pretty strong case for her as well. I bet this is also quite strong for Daniela.
Yeah, I bet she can play it.
Yeah, you have a bunch of events you want to play and stuff, and then also you get money back. Cause
Yeah, if you do an event-focused thing.
Yeah, your
definitely.
economy is garbage.
Yeah. We have First Watch, which the most important thing this does is gives you an enemy that you can fight and then kill and then bring a flashlight out of their body.
Yeah. Yeah, plus with the amount of soak that you are likely playing in your deck, because it is kind of what items or like assets do.
Yeah.
It's one of the useful
just
things
give them all
that
to
they
yourself.
do. You can just deal all the cards to yourself and probably eat most of the effects.
Dude, anytime if a Will Yorick you're playing with does that, you just think, wow, this guy might actually be a god.
And he's sitting there, he's like, I'm gonna die here.
I made a terrible mistake. We got Brute Force, which is just like another Vicious Blow for your deck. You can't use it with another weapon, but it does make you do attack at 7 without anything else, which is probably going to be good enough to get you there.
It's also really good for other people.
What if you want to punch a guy so hard he explodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime I remember the moment where we were like, no, punch him.
Get him.
Yeah, it is good there. And then we got a bunch of more cards. We got Solemn Vow.
More cards. Imagine that, Justin.
Yeah. My brain has to comprehend that. Anytime that switches over, I'm like, hey, what is this? What is this here? So Solemn Vow, you put under the control of an investigator in another location, and you can move damage or horror from a card controlled to the card that investigator controls. The owner of Solon. So you move a card from a card you control to a card that Investigator controls. So you can take your own damage and horror and put it on...
I don't think you can play it under your own control.
No.
Oh, the control of another Investigator. No,
Yeah.
but that's like from the person who has it, you can put your damage on Will Yorick.
Yeah, you give it to other people, and then you give your damage to Yorick.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one also commits for guts, and you can just play it out of your discard pile for 0.
Yep.
So this card kind of does a lot of work.
Yeah, 3 guts, baby.
Yeah.
We got Daring, which helps you for attacking and evading, and then you draw a card after it ends, which is what you're going to be doing most of the time. And you don't really care about the Retaliate.
Yeah, they get Retaliate and
And
Alert.
honestly,
but, like,
most
you're
enemies
probably
have
not-
Retaliate.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's just
anything you
things they
want the
have.
+3 on to fight, it's probably got it anyway.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't, whatever, just pass. You gave yourself +3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem, right?
It's a pretty good deal.
It is. We got Fool Me Once, which is after play when you would discard a Treachery card after resolving its effects, put it in Fool Me Once into play, attach that Treachery to it, and the next time an Investigator draws the attached Treachery card, discard Fool Me Once and cancel that card's Revelation effect. Say bye-bye.
Yeah, so it's worth noting that the reaction effect on this isn't forced.
So if someone draws an Ancient, it would be like,
so-
no, I can resolve.
Yeah, but like you can also use it to just keep something out of the deck.
Yeah.
Or save it for someone that could cripple more. Like, your Mystic draws Crypt Chill, and you're just like, yeah, just do the brain test,
Like,
man.
look, I know you came here to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figure it out. But yeah, you could... so like Circle on Undone tech here. There are a lot of cards that ask you to have more than one of them in play. If you take one of them out of the deck, it won't happen anymore.
Yep.
Ever.
Seems really good
So-
for the Return to Circle with
Yeah,
that one.
right.
That
Like-
one.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh no, there won't be 3 of these.
Yeah. Oh, shucks.
Sucks.
We got Safeguard, which when an investigator moves during your turn, you can exhaust it to move whenever they move. It's it's better than spending your turns moving. Just
And your turn punching.
punching and then getting flashlights out of people.
Yeah.
I will say, even though we say getting flashlight, it's just our go-to item.
Yeah,
There's
it's just
much
that.
better things to
Like, you
get out
can-
of there.
Yeah, you can be getting all kinds of things out of somebody.
Yeah. We got Leadership, which if you're committed to a skill test by another investigator, it gets +1 brain and +1 wild, so it commits for 3 brain probably, or just 2 wild. And then if it's succeeded, gain 2 resources, and the person doing the test also gains 2 resources. So not only do you help them not die, but you also get some money out of it, which money is good for your game plan.
This card's
So
actually really good.
Yes. Then we got Nightmare Bauble, which is a staple in the Survivor class. You can check it out down in the description below. All right, it's Innsmouth Conspiracy time. There's a lot of things you can do with the... well, there's not a lot of things you can do. There's one thing you do in each class for each of the blessed and cursed stuff there.
I'm in purple gets both.
They do.
Kinda.
Yeah.
And we have links to our archetype guides for those videos down in the description rather than us talk about all the blessed cards here because they kind of just fit in the package.
Yeah.
Notable ones here we have is Holy Rosary. You get +1 brain, and you just, whenever you succeed a brain test, add blessed tokens. Very strong in Will Yorick.
It's an asset.
Yeah.
It does take up that that valuable accessory slot, but Relic Hunter exists for a reason.
It's also like very similar to Cherish Keepsake.
Yeah.
It's very good with the next card here that is good in Yorick that is not good in other investigators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Enchanted
the
Armor. I'll let you
Enchanted
take that
Armor.
one, Brune.
Yeah, so this one's a 1-costed asset. It commits for some garbage icons. And you can play it under the control of any investigator at your location. So it could be you, but it could be somebody else too. Doesn't matter. It takes up their body slot and one of their arcane slots. Forced, after damage is placed on it, you have to test Brain X, where X is the total amount of damage and or horror currently on the Enchanted Armor. If you fail, you go to discard it, and the damage that was just placed on it has to be placed somewhere else instead. So you can usually use this to fairly reliably eat maybe 3-ish damage that somebody else is going to take. It's not a great option for you because like you got leather coat.
Yeah.
You don't need to
things,
do that. Yeah, you got better things to do. But your brain is 3, and with the Holy Rosary you can get up to 4, and if you got a Pete, you're at 5, and then if you got this last card here, the Dig Deep.
Even just corner,
Yeah,
too, right?
cornered.
It's a lot of experience.
You can get to a lot. Yeah, the dig deep is a lot of experience.
I mean, like
the
just
cornered,
all the things you described in general. Like if you're playing 2 copies of each, that's 4 for the Enchanted Armor, is 4 for the Holy Rosaries, is 8. 4 for Pete's is like another 12, and then
yeah, that's fair. You don't get the brain off the level 0 Pete.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's fine for now.
Yeah.
It's just not something you can, like, easily translate. You have to build around.
I mean, on the Enchanted Armor does seem like you add it later in the campaigns for sure. It's not a priority.
If you are playing an Enchanted Armor build, you definitely do kind of need to be building your deck sort of around passing that brain test a couple of times. Mm-hmm. You are red, and you do want to be playing some of the pieces anyway. Like, Cornered is incredibly good in this deck. Mm-hmm. And Lucky, which also just allows you to sometimes pass a test on that you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. And then when it breaks and they get the damage, you say, hey, let's try this again.
Yeah, you just give it back.
Yeah. We got Butterfly Effect, which when a Chaos token with a symbol is revealed during a skill test at your location, you or the performing investigator may either commit a card or return a card. This allows you to save or add relevant skills depending on when you see the result and if you're happy with it. Third Time's a Charm is a card that twice during a test when the investigator reveals a Chaos token, they may cancel it, return to the Chaos bag, and reveal a new Chaos token. This is something that can help with what Travis was talking about earlier with Old Hunting Rifle to ensure that it does not jam. Then we got Dig Deep, which gives you can spend resources to get +1 brain or +1 foot for a skill test. And it also has 2 resources on it, so you always just get now a Guts each turn.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, it makes your defensive stats 5s 1 time a turn. But
which is like really like not more than you need.
Yeah,
right?
that's the number of times you probably need that.
Yeah, if you're making like 4 brain tests on a defensive stat a turn, you're probably playing the game wrong. You're probably going to do something incorrect.
Yeah. So they just slam your face in an Innsmouth look every turn.
Yeah. Alright, Edge of the Earth. So we'll go through these guys. Oh man. So much nicer.
They're all like garbage.
It really,
wild.
really is. It really is.
Alright, we got Geared Up. So, when your first turn of the game begins, play any number of item assets from your hand, reducing the cost of each by 1. During this turn, you have 3 fewer actions to take. If you're a heavy item build, this could be something you can consider taking. And then, like, mulligan hard to obviously get 3 item assets in your hand. My jury's still out on Geared Up. I need to see it in action to see what I actually think of it.
I think it's pretty niche still, but...
Yeah. We got Get Behind Me, which until the enemy phase, whenever an enemy would attack another investigator location, it attacks you instead, then engage that enemy. Cancel 1 horde dealt by each attack made this way. Well, like not like amazing in Will Yorick, you do have the soak that you could offer some of that tanky protection through this card. And it's something that if you want to do that tanky support Yorick, this would be what you want to do.
You got a pile of guard dogs.
Yeah, that's also pretty sick. Yeah.
The cultists come at you, you sick your dogs on them.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick.
And like Mr. Smithers, release the hounds.
Ooh, that seems like a live deck build right there. Release the hounds.
Where are we going to do Dog Yorick?
No, I think we were going to do Dog Leo.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We were going to do Dog Leo because Dog Leo is probably, it doesn't really matter that much.
We got Short Supply, which is exceptional in Will Yorick. As we talked about this whole time, how do you get cards in your discard pile? Well...
Start the game with 10 of them there.
Yeah, put 10 of them in your discard pile at the start of the game, just do that.
Yeah.
And then the moment where you get rid of your graveyard ghouls, it's just like,
nice. Suck it, graveyard ghouls.
Yeah. We got Bandages, which honestly is now like, it's really showing
a house.
Yeah. So it has 3 supplies. If it has no supplies, discard it, which is like a keyword that Brent always looks for to see what's good in Will Yorick.
Always.
Yep.
Because if it discards itself, you can play it from your own discard pile really easily. And after an investigator or an ally asset at your location takes 1 or more damage, spend 1 supply, and heal 1 damage from that card. So, for example, Guard Dog, Beat Cop, Jessica Hyde for some reason. You wanted to do that, but don't.
Put Jessica Hyde in the play, she's fine.
Unless you take a whole pile of damage in 1 turn, in which case, the thing to note about this is that while it does have 3 supplies, you can only spend 1 supply per instance of damage.
Yeah.
So if you're taking a whole bunch of little damage, maybe it's worth it to heal Jess, so that you can put the rest of the damage on her too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this card would also be fantastic with Yorick, especially if you're building Guard Dog or Beat Cop.
It does cost 2, which is a little bit pricey, but
there are so many things that this card can do though. So the Guard Dog build, you can use this to just heal your Guard Dog and have him kill guys anyway. If you're playing the build where you're using beat cop for damage, 2 is a lot cheaper per 3 damage
Than
than
4.
4 is.
Yep.
If you're playing Greta Wagner,
Greet Wagner.
yeah, or Greet Wagner,
Greet.
but if you're playing her, this is 3 clues for 2 money, which is a much better rate than the shovel will give you.
Yeah.
This card just kind of does like it has a lot of possible applications given Will's card pool.
Yeah. We got Jury Rig attached to an item asset controlled by Investigator location. During a skill test on attached assets, spend 1 durability. You get +2 skill value for this test. It can work in Will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like only 4 punch is a bit of a liability, particularly in the later sections of the campaign. There are other ways to deal with this, but this one is pretty okay.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing melee weapons.
Yeah.
And you can just slap it on there and wait until you find an enemy who's big and tough enough that +2 is starting to look pretty attractive.
We got Schaffner's Catalog, which is another one that's really nice in Will Yorick. Uses 5 secrets. If it has no secrets on it, discard it. The keywords we're looking for. And you may spend secrets on Schaffner's Catalog as resources to pay for item assets played by any investigator at your location. Hey, what 5 money?
Yeah.
5 money to pay for
Yeah.
things you're going to be paying for anyway.
So far, I've only played with this card in a Bob Jenkins deck, but there's no way this card is not good
Yeah.
in Will Yorick. It's impossible.
What if you're only bringing back allies and not
Then,
items?
Well, then you're just
Like,
you made
whose
a
fault is that?
boo-boo putting this in
Yeah.
your deck.
Yeah, like you built a weird deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're using it to pay for other Schaffners. Just loopy,
Yeah.
loopy, loopy. We got Medical Student. After it enters play, heal 1 damage, 1 horror from an investigator ally asset at your location. Don't die. Stop dying. Play beat cop over and over and over again.
Stop dying at me.
Yeah. Then we got Talisman of Protection, which is you play during only your turn. It's fast. Under control of any investigator at your location.
Shit,
and
this thing's fast?
yeah.
Fuck, I've been spending actions to play this.
When you are assigned damage on a horror that would kill you, discard it and cancel up to 2 damage and or
Amazing.
horror. It's like a perseverance that just you can keep doing and
Yeah,
doing and doing.
card's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like a priority card for your deck, but it's
Heck
nice
no.
to like add as a single copy or whatever.
I think like it's especially good in something like Innsmouth to start off. If you're a little bit worried about that, especially, and then you can just get rid of it later on once your deck becomes a bit more.
Yep, you can also play this to protect your teammates,
Mm-hmm.
like the Enchanted Armor, and you can play it over and over and over again.
Many times.
Heavy Furs. Hey, speaking of playing something over and over and over again, so after you reveal a non-autofill symbol on a Chaos token during a skill test, performing deal 1 damage to Heavy Furs, cancel the Chaos token and return it to a bag. You too can be Wendy Adams, just not with cards.
Just like only for a little bit.
Yeah. And then you
Also,
just
you
kill
can't
something.
cancel the autofill.
Yeah.
Like a
I mean-
scrub.
And then you just can kill something and get it back once it's been defeated.
Man, maybe the dog deck is Yorick so that you can play, you can like start the game with 10 cards in your discard pile and just play your dogs in your
Yeah.
discard pile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like drawing 10 cards.
Yeah.
You may include it before, speaking of Sled Dog, you may include up to 4 copies of it in your deck, and then they just attack as a pack and move as a pack. The more you have, the better they do.
Yeah, if you got 1, it's not good.
Yeah. If you have 2,
It's pretty
getting
okay.
a bit better. If you have
Yeah.
3,
It's good.
if you have 4, oh
great.
my god.
If you have 8.
You can come up with 8 somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rod of Animalism is how you can have more sled dogs. Like, that's why this is here. It's here for them.
Yep.
Yeah. It is also really neat with stuff like the Mysterious Raven and
Yes.
the Stray Cat.
Yeah.
Even Guard Dog, he's a creature, believe it or not.
He's not a cop.
Yeah, I know, right? He's not actually a policeman.
Yeah. We got Unscrupulous Loan, which after you play, gain 10 resources, and then at the game ends, if you have fewer than 10 resources, exile it. Oh my god, that's not even really a cost.
I mean, like, sort of.
I mean, yeah, but you're like, when you want this, like, you're gonna probably just be like, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with losing this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like this one does seem like a fairly strong one-shot effect to put into your deck when you're on like 7 or 8 of a campaign.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just
your
like,
sheer
hey,
experience.
let's
Or your
let's just
resources.
let's just win the game.
The money
How
one.
about that? Yeah.
Juice your hand size. No. We got 2 ice picks, level 1 and level 3. They're fast. During a skill test while fighting or investigating, you get +1 if you exhaust it. And then you can discard it if If you succeed, you can discard it to have this deal +1 damage or get an additional clue, which seems really nice with Will Yorick. Just be like, "Zot-dog," and then, get another one.
Yeah.
Zot-dog.
Just like a hand slot, which is a little tough, but
Yeah.
I like the idea of bringing a bandolier, and your bandolier is just full of ice picks.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what the hell are you doing? And you're like, don't worry about it. And then when you kill the guy with your chainsaw, you pull out an ice pick and stab it in his eye, too.
yeah, that gun.
Yeah.
To continue the train of never dying, we have the precious mementos. They are the inverse, so I'm going to just read one of them and just imagine the opposite. After you fail a skill test by 2 or more, exhaust it to heal 1 damage from it, and after you succeed a skill test by 2 or more, exhaust it to heal 1 horror from it. Soak for 3 and 3. Never die. Just don't.
Just never die.
More never die.
Yeah.
Last one here for Edge of the Earth. We got Bruiser and Crafty, which both follow a similar thing, which is they both cost 3. They come in with 2 resources and replenish these resources at the start of each round. Resources on Bruiser may be spent for armor, firearm, and melee. For Crafty, it's insight, tool, or trick. And then during a skill test on those traits for each card, you spend a resource to get +1 skill value for this test. So obviously with armor, firearm, and melee, you can use that to bump it up. And then also pay for them, which is probably the thing you're going to be doing more often than not, especially also with the insight, tool, and trick cards as well on Crafty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the weapons that you have access to in red, like notably one that is lower down on this this page, some of them are also tools.
Yep.
So that's like a kind of neat use for Crafty.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if Lantern was also a tool.
Yeah. Yeah, the lantern and the shovel, I believe, are also a tool. Fire axe and the chainsaw. The chainsaw definitely is.
Yeah.
I think the fire axe.
A tool
I'm not
for
certain about
killing
that.
things.
Yeah. Anyway, you get to be crafty. You put some glitter and
Yeah.
hot glue and
This
ice
is my
pick
killing
onto your
axe.
gun.
We have protective gear. 4 costs to experience. When you draw hazard treachery, deal 1 horror and 1 damage to protective gear. Cancel that card's revelation effect. 3 soak for each of them. So it's pricey, but it has some great soak and an ability that is especially relevant in the Forgotten Age and the Innsmouth Conspiracy expansions. But otherwise, it just represents good soak.
And you know that for a fact this time.
I do know that for a fact this time, because I think I made the video after we failed this one, so yeah. Defensive stance. While it's in your hand or committed to a skill test, it gains fist icons equal to your foot and foot equal to your fist. So you can have 7s in your stats. I like it. Every time I just look at them together, I'm like, all right, that's what we got. That's assuming you don't have any other boosts that go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got Dauntless Spirit, which is the same thing, but for Brain and Punch instead.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually exactly the same
Yeah.
for Yorick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 7s.
We have Fire Extinguisher, a tool, melee. You get +1 fist, +1 damage with this attack, and you can discard it to evade, automatically evade all enemies engaged with you. You may exile instead of discarding it, to discard each non-elite enemy evaded by this effect.
Take this, Cats from Saturn.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a lot of people who are just like, this weapon doesn't do enough, but those are people who just jam Time Worn Brand in each of their decks. So they're not dreamers. Have some fun. Play Fire Extinguisher. I think it's fine. It's a machete, right? Without the thing. Worst case scenario.
Worst case. It also only costs 2 money.
Yeah.
So it's like, its utility option is also kind of real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the return 2 boxes. Survival Knife, the upgrade, more stab, and now you get to stab before they attack you. Upgrade of Bandolier. You have 2 additional hand slots, which can only use to hold weapon assets, and if you have 2 weapons and 2 or more hand slots, you get +1 brain. This can be relevant if you are trying to do Holy Rosary, or if you just want more brain and holding lots of weapons. Do them all at the same time. Upgraded Blackjack. Bryn, what does this do?
I like this one a lot. So the normal Blackjack is very bad. Don't play it. However, the level 2 Blackjack, for 2 money, you get a melee weapon that takes up 1 of your hand slots, and as an action you can fight. You get +2 punch for the attack. If you perform this attack against an enemy that is engaged with another investigator, you deal +1 damage for the attack if you succeed, and no damage if you fail. So obviously this one's not good if you're playing with 2 or less people. It's just not a good plan. But if you're playing with 3 or more, Blackjack's pretty solid. It gives you +2 and +1 damage pretty reliably. The only trick is that you need to not be the one who has the enemy. But if there's 3 or more of you, it's much more likely that somebody else will draw it anyway.
Yeah.
And most of the enemies that spawn at an empty location, they're pretty squishy. And you've got another hand slot to fill with something that could kill them if they weren't.
Yeah.
Squish.
Yeah, my favorite loadout is to roll these with the meat cleavers.
Yeah, yeah. Makes sense. You use your meat cleaver to kill your people, and then blackjack to
Carry the blackjack. You play your safeguard.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, you carry me in there. But also you're going to engage this guy.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna
hit him until he dies.
Yeah.
We got the upgraded physical training. This is level 2. Gives you +1 brain, +1 fist. Commits also for guts and an overpower. Those
Costs
are the stats.
0.
It costs 0. Playing it from your discard pile is super cheap. Also, this one it also gets good because you're not like spending the action as well to play it.
Yeah.
And then you can turn your resources that you're not using for things to bump up your attack or brain as needed. Upgraded rabbit's foot. Now it's for each number you fail by.
Each point you fail by.
Each point you fail by.
Wow.
So that's nice. We got the upgraded lantern and gravedigger shovel, which you can now. The difference is they're cheaper by 1.
Yes, that is
That's a
the
big.
real difference.
That's a big difference.
They do also have the option to remove them from the game to do the thing twice instead of just once.
Yeah, which is something you can do when you're like
choice.
nearing the end of it,
Yeah.
especially, right?
Yeah.
You're like, we need these clues, get them, discover 2 clues, get rid of your shovel, right?
Yeah.
You probably won't need it again after that.
They also commit for an extra icon,
Yep.
which is pretty
Very
cool.
relevant, yeah.
And like removing the gravedigger shovel in particular, what if you just had another one?
And we are confirmed they're both tools as well.
They're
so
tools.
we did.
Wow.
We got level 1 Alter Fate. Choose a discard from play a non-weakness treachery that is not attached to an elite enemy. I believe the difference is it's no longer fast, like
Yeah, you
lightning
can't
bolt
play
window.
lightning bolt window, and it costs 3 instead of 1.
Yeah. And then we got the Fool level 3. This is a 3-cost tarot. When you play a card, exhaust it to reduce that card's cost by 1. When the game begins, it has the tarot thing where it puts it into play. So you do play cards from your discard pile. So this
Lots.
actually is pretty relevant,
Yeah.
more than it would be for other people, because like Yorick is constantly playing. Does
This
Dexter
is
also
true.
play? Does Dexter also play?
Yeah, Dexter. I believe Dexter's lightning bolt is also a play.
Interesting. So that's why we don't. The Fool probably won't show up like too much, but
No, it does.
think-
It does have some niche homes.
yeah, which is good. Makes the card more fun. Let's finish this up. We're on to the Investigator guides. Wow, we're killing it. We got the 18 Derringer and the chainsaw, which you can find both in our weapon videos. And then we got Old Keyring. If there are no keys on Old Keyring, discard it. It's part of our clue thing, but it has that text on there. If there are no keys on it, discard it. And you can cheat some clues in Yorick.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't burn the use unless you succeed. So your 2-book score is less of a liability.
Yep. Then we got Mysterious Raven. As a lightning bolt, discard it and take 1 horror. Discover 1 clue, your location. A lot of clues for the cost of horror, which really, if you've been watching this video, is not really a problem. You're gonna have
Peter,
to
get the bird. Catch the bird again.
I hate this bird.
Did you bring the bird?
No.
Why are you even here? Go get the bird.
Yeah, the bird's just like actually like speaking in tongues to Peter Sylvester. He's just like, please, can we stop?
Yeah. Yeah. I have been meaning to play a Doomslayer Yorick build, where you just bring a chainsaw, rip and tear until it's done.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Sick.
Level 0 Safeguard, if you're going into the upgraded one, you could put this in here. You only move once, and of note, they move before you, so it's after they move, so if there's enemy there. Yeah, but Blackjack does solve that problem if you are doing that. Stand Together is a staple that gives resources to you and another Investigator. Really good, really nice. It's in all of our Guardian decks now who are running this one.
Yeah.
Test of Will, level 0, and the level 2 down just below it.
Legally obligated.
They stop treachery cards, and as Bryn said
These
earlier...
ones are much worse than the other one for you, though.
Yes, because you have to test brain for them.
Yes.
Yeah, unless you're trying to make that good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which you definitely can.
You definitely can.
Yeah.
It's a direction you can take, for sure. Level 2, Overpower, 3 fists, and if you succeed by 2 or more, you draw 2 cards instead. Upgraded Derringer, to look at in our weapon video. Upgraded Unexpected Courage. If you fail, return it to your hand. So basically, Whoa, that's kind of cool. It landed right in there.
Yeah.
If the test fails, return it to your hands. So just like make failing not a problem. If Unexpected Courage is in your deck, you do not need to rush to the level 2 Unexpected Courage. That's like you're going into scenario 8, and you're like, I have 2 experience. What do I buy? How about this upgrade?
Even then, there's probably other better things to do with your 2 experience.
I do agree with that too.
It does depend a little bit on what you're trying to do. If you are trying to play a deck where you protect your teammates, this Unexpected Courage is fairly solid because you can throw it at tests that you don't expect them to pass, like you know, maybe a Grasping Hands or
and then you can just
something like that, and you're just like, sure, this is gonna suck, but it's gonna suck a little less.
That's fair.
I thought we were talking about Lucky.
Oh, sorry, no, I was talking about Unexpected Courage.
Are we talking about Unexpected Courage or Lucky?
Unexpected Courage.
Okay. Well, what I said is also what you said about...
Yeah, like pretty much everything that's like about Unexpected Courage level 2. Most
Same
of that's
for
true
Lucky.
about Lucky level 3.
Yeah, Lucky level 3 is
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
nice. It's very strong. It's a very strong
very
card.
strong.
Yeah. I think once again, like your core, as always, if you look at understanding upgrading video, your core is more important, and Lucky shouldn't be part of your core because level 0 Lucky is still very strong.
Yeah.
But getting this one later on is really nice because you can also help other people.
Huge
Not having
for
to
your
pay the
teammates
money for it
sometimes.
is also kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like it gains you a resource when you play it as well as drawing you a card.
Dude, I remember the first time I read it, I was like 0, incredible. And then I was like, Gigabits +3, incredible. And then I completely missed the other people.
Yeah.
I was like, this text is the same. Like, my brain can just skip right past it. And then I was like, I remember recording a video. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if like there was a if Lucky had a Water Protection multiplayer variant, and then Travis was like, that's what the new one does. And I was like, what? Eyes popping out of my head.
What?
Travis,
Yeah.
why don't you talk about the deck that you made?
Nah, Bryn can.
All right.
It's a Yorick deck.
It'd be so funny if you put in a
Okay.
card that was like bad just to trick him. Like,
How do you normally do this, Travis? Do you run through all the cards one by one and explain why they're there?
I just look at them and I
Okay.
start talking, or my
Okay.
eyes are drawn to.
Yeah, right on.
I just go.
we got the Derringer, the knife, and the machete. These are our options for fighting monsters. We do kind of want enemies to be defeated at our location, and the best way to do that is to do it ourselves. They're all fairly solid options, though admittedly the level 0 weapons for Yorick are pretty interchangeable. You could kind of pick whichever ones you like. It doesn't have to be these ones. We got the Sheriff's Keepsake and the Leather Coat. If you're not playing these in your deck, I'm not saying that you're accountable to me for it, because you're not. It's your choice. But like, you should have a reason that you're not playing them. They're very good. They're a huge part of the whole don't die thing. And they do it practically for free.
Free.
Almost.
Free.
Yeah.
So free.
Then we got some policemen. We got the beat cops. Like we said, they make your punch 5 instead of 4. And Travis and I were joking about the difference between 5 and 4 being different than the difference between 2 and 3. To explain that, the most frequent test difficulty in the game is like 3-ish.
On standard.
On standard. I mean, like, it's the same
But
on
yeah, it's the
everything.
same
That part
number.
doesn't change.
Yeah, but
That
what you're
part
going to
doesn't
talk
change.
about is relevant for standard.
Yeah, if you're playing standard, most token draws will give you something approximating a -2. So you want to start your test up 2 before you start looking at other things. And 5 is up 2 from the standard test difficulty. We got Tetsuo Mori. You can't bring back your items from your discard pile until you have found them. He does that.
He does do that.
He does that. If you have your items already, he can do it for one of your teammates, or he can put something that they've got in their discard pile back into their hand. He does a lot of things. Not just die, but mostly die. We had to let me handle this. Yeah, it's mostly die.
It is mostly die.
Let me handle this has a lot of utility where if somebody else draws an enemy and you're like, man, I would have to run over there and kill that guy, you can just be like, no, I drew him.
Yeah.
He's over here. I'm going to kill that guy.
That enemy actually ran to me.
Yeah. But also your defensive stats are 3s. This gives you +2 on skill checks. You got a pretty real shot at passing just about anything.
Scoop a brain test from your
yeah.
rogue or a foot test from your seeker.
Yeah. And even if you fail, what's the game going to do? Make you discard an asset?
Take
Like,
damage.
take damage? Whatever. Doesn't matter. We got the emergency caches. Never cut your economy. You need to be able to pay for your cards, and this is doubly true in Yorick, because if you aren't paying for cards out of your discard pile, your Investigator text is practically blank, which is not a great place to be.
Yeah, especially with such a strong ability.
Yeah, I feel like ever in a situation where your Investigator's text box is, like, you always want to be maximizing your text box, because if you're not maximizing your text box, why aren't you just playing a different Investigator?
Why not play somebody with a better stat line or a better card pool?
Yep.
Although admittedly Yorick does have a pretty solid card pool, but Tommy has a better one.
Yeah, because he gets to play blue
Because he gets
0
to
to
play
5.
blue 0 to 5 and like all the red cards that are good in Yorick. Pretty close.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, not quite all of them. We got prepared for the worst. Again, you can't play your items again unless you find them, and you can't play your items again unless you're killing enemies. You can't. It's very difficult to kill enemies without weapons. You need them. We got scrounge for supplies. It's just more what you do.
You get your items back
Yeah,
after
you get whatever it is you want, you get it back. We got stand together again. Money, you need it. We got resourceful again. More of what you do. It's more of what your card does.
Very consistent.
But also does not require there to be an enemy in play.
You can investigate
like
this
for
one.
supplies. Yeah, you can throw this at somebody else's test, right? Like if your Seeker's running an investigate, you're like, hang on, let me piggyback on that. I'd like to
So
start
you're
a
testing
keepsake
8
back
too?
or whatever.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Cool, here you go. We got take the initiative. Again, our defensive numbers are 3s. So we can throw this at a Mythos card test to be at 6s. If we need to solve an encounter test or a test on a location, we can also just throw this at it. And, like, we got pretty good numbers. Or pretty medium numbers, I guess. They're not pretty good numbers. Most of them are pretty medium.
But this is what kind of makes
solid.
them. That's what kind of makes
like
it
this
good,
is
right?
this type of thing is what makes that good.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, YouTube, are you guys ready for this video to come up and there just to be a glitchy, evil static in it again?
It's going to get DMCA'd.
Yeah, like, what music? And they're just... Well, that's Yorick. I don't know who's next. My gut
I think
says
it's
it's
Carolyn.
Yeah, I think it's Carolyn, yeah. So we'll be going on to Carolyn. That'll be a wild one. There's going to be a lot of cards.
Man.
Carolyn's a good
She
one.
can play like a lot of cards, though.
Yeah, but not many of them are good.
Yeah. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys next week or tomorrow, or even if you're just clicking and finding a new video to watch right now. If you like this video, consider pressing that like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to us. 50% of our viewers are not subscribed, so why don't you make that number smaller by hitting that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.